Two Dallas developers who are constructing duplexes in violation of new zoning laws work to make their cases today. They believe they should be allowed to continue construction because the city issued the building permits. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live with the latest. Lori.
Clarice, in the first case, the Board of Adjustment just voted to delay making a decision, instead asking the city, neighborhood, and developers to come up with a compromise solution by October 22nd.
Y'all are the front lines to ensuring that the city of Dallas never makes these type of mistakes again.
In 2022, with an influx of large duplexes with flat roofs springing up in Elm Thicket, people who lived there worked hard to get zoning changes. They wanted to protect the former Freedmen's Town with single-family homes, traditional roofs, and space for lawns.
There is no way permits should have been let out.
Tuesday, both the developers and the city of Dallas were in the hot seat to explain why duplexes are continuing to be built in violation of the zoning changes residents fought so hard for. The developers argued the city is at fault for granting permits against its own zoning regulations. Dallas Cothram with Master Plan represents one of the builders who received a stop work order from the city. Akbar Magani with Grand Development.
Your client understood the restrictions.
No. My client.
I thought you just said that he filed a permit kind of risking whether or not.
No, he knew there had been a zoning change. He did not know when it took effect or what all the particulars were.
I would think that's common sense to want to know when that would be effective. Isn't that the first question that you would ask when there's a change? Would you say, okay, well, when is the date for this because I've got an upcoming project?
Well, I mean, the city staff also got it wrong, too.
In May 2024, the city of Dallas realized that its own employees were using the old land use map. The city issued at least 19 permits in error.
The city definitely has a greater responsibility than my client does to know what the rules are.
Justin Roy represents the Dallas building official.
We acknowledge, obviously, that mistakes were made.
Specifically, what the time is that we citizens should expect this public land use map available online to be accurate. Because otherwise, how do you expect the applicant to go from 0 to 100% of accountability?
A lot of what we do is on paper, and that takes time to move it from one place to the other, and that is highest priority. We're working on getting digital on this to where we would have digital code, digital interpretation.
But Roy also argued that the developer had to have known about the city's zoning changes because he objected to them in writing 5 months before applying for his permit.
If you object in May of 2022 to the ordinance that is planned, and that I believe this was probably in response to the City Plan Commission, he had to have known certain aspects of the ordinance that was planned to be passed. I believe what he said in the Fox News article was that he participated in the board, before the board and at City Hall. It's incumbent on the builder to know what the ordinance is and get the information he needs.
Roy is referring to this August interview on Fox 4.
Were you aware of the zoning change that happened?
Yeah, we were, definitely we were part of that one. We knew it and we participated. We went to the city hall also. City is supposed to be, they are police. They are supposed to check and deny or approve.
The hearing today was the first of many. There are at least 18 other builders who also received permits in error, and each of those cases is going to be going before this board. Clarice.
All right, you'll keep us posted, Lori. Thank you.